Destination Newry. It is the morning programme streaming on the web live to the whole world. And I'm delighted to welcome Sinead Murphy to the studio, Senior Environmental Officer with Newry and Mourne District Council in relation to food safety.
That's right, yes.
Greet your audience in the west coast of America and the east coast of America, down in the Antipodes, all over the world you've been.
Good morning.
And it's good to have you with us this morning.
Thank you.
And it's lovely to come across someone by coincidence with whom you have a past history. And the history is you grew up, for part of your growing up, on Mary Street, next door to my uncle and aunt in Mary Street. And you were Garvey to your own name, as they say.
That's right, yes.
Who were you to your own name? I was Garvey. That's the way people talk. Yeah. But you're so welcome. It's good to see you. Sinead Murphy, this is about allergen information for loose foods. What does that mean, in fact?
Yes, there are new regulations that have just come out this year, and it puts an onus onto food businesses to provide information on certain allergens on foods that are now loose, which means that food that's not packaged.
So if I go in to order a curry, or if I go in to order a sandwich across the counter, I in future will need to be told, maybe a little label will be on it showing me what are the dangers of an allergic reaction to the contents. I'll be told what's in it.
Yes, that's right. These regulations are the biggest change to food labelling in almost 20 years.
Goodness gracious.
And for the first time, they put a responsibility onto food businesses that don't pre-package food, that sell it loose, as we're saying. So unpackaged, that could be on a plate in a restaurant. It could be wrapped up in your takeaway across the sandwich counter. It could be somebody that's catering from the home. Maybe a wedding cake that you might order.
Yeah.
The information is required about those foods on
and you
these
tell
allergens.
Me there's maybe 14 allergens.
That's right. This legislation is EC based, and it's looked at the foods that cause the highest number of allergic reactions or intolerances in people across Europe. Yeah. So some of them may be common here, some of them could be more common in Spain or France, for example. So things that are listed in the 14 are milk, eggs, wheat would be a common one.
Wheat, yeah.
Because people can have an intolerance to gluten.
Gluten is a thing.
Yes.
Do you know the awful thing? I discovered this recently. Gluten-free means more expensive.
Gluten-free.
That's strange.
Yes, yes.
Somewhere out there, somebody is thinking, oh, gluten-free, I'll make some money out of this.
Well,
maybe it's not like that.
To be gluten-free, the product has to go through a certain process to remove the gluten protein out of the wheat, oats, rye or barley. And so that's probably the extra cost.
Well, what does gluten do to somebody if you're allergic to it?
Yeah, well, some people, there's a difference now. There's people who are allergic, and there's people who are intolerant.
Yes.
And it's important that food businesses know a bit about allergic reactions and intolerances and the differences between them, because that will decide how they may deal with their consumer.
Yes.
For example, an allergy is something that involves an immune reaction. So the body treats the protein in, for example, peanuts.
They're dangerous. They can be dangerous for some people.
For certain individuals. So the body triggers an immune reaction and produces a chemical known as histamine. This can trigger a reaction like a rash, swelling of the mouth and the lips and the throat, which can result in difficulties in breathing and anaphylaxis, which has led to deaths.
Anaphylactic shock.
That's right.
And unless you get an injection immediately, you're in trouble.
Yeah. While looking at gluten is an intolerance, and people who suffer from a gluten intolerance, it's known as celiac disease.
Yes.
And that is where the gluten affects the intestine and how the intestine absorbs the nutrients. Wow. This can leave people suffering from malnutrition. Yeah. It can leave them that they're not absorbing the nutrients, and it can leave them ill on the longer term.
Yes.
So
is this something called? Is there an autoimmune problem in there somewhere, that the body is destroying itself?
Well, there's different sorts of theories in terms of allergies and why the allergies are on the increase. And 68% of children in the UK and Ireland suffer from allergies.
Really?
And we have 20 million adults that suffer from at least one known food allergy,
yes,
with 10 million of these who
My
have
goodness.
more than one food allergy. So it really is something that's on the increase.
The more you talk, the more fortunate I think I am, because there's not much can cause my old hard stomach to do anything other than digest it and take it, So how is it, this comes in December?
It does, yes.
Now, in practical terms, what will I see in the shop around the corner when I go in to order and I look at all this stuff and I say, I'm going to have a sandwich and this is what I want in it. Bump, 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 bump and bump.
Yeah, so this is a huge change for these food businesses. From the 13th of December, the food business operator has to inform the consumer about the allergens in the food. Now, there's different ways they can actually do that. So they can do it by signposting, by putting a notice up in a clear, conspicuous place in the shop, informing the consumer that if they require any allergen information, they should ask a member of staff.
Yeah.
So that's one way for a food business to do it.
There won't be individual labels on each little pod of material that's going into the sandwich.
No.
But the member of staff will be knowledgeable.
But in the background, the food business needs to have done their homework as such and have identified what allergens go into what foods.
Yes.
So we're running a number of workshops at the moment to inform businesses about these requirements and to help them practically comply with them. And we're advising businesses that they should document the recipe, so all the dishes and the foods that they serve, that they should keep a central document where they keep the recipes. And then they look at the individual ingredients that go into each dish.
Yeah.
Now this will require them to look at the labels and to identify if any of these 14 allergens are in the ingredients.
And are there any kind of very sophisticated, almost concealed allergens that, we talk about, if I can be allergic to peanuts, I can be allergic to mollusks, to mussels and oysters, I can be allergic to fish, I can be allergic to milk. Is it that simple? Are these the basic, upfront, easy to understand allergens, or is there some little hidden things in there that'll come out and catch me? Yes,
well, you've just hit the right term, Rowan. They are hidden allergens out there that the businesses need to be aware of.
Yes.
And examples of that are the oils that some of the business use. Some businesses may use soya oil is used in some of the major brands. So that is if a takeaway uses soya oil, well, they're going to have to declare that soya will be in all the fried foods.
Yes.
We had a person at one of our workshops that recognised that Worcester sauce has fish in it. So now they put a wee bit of that in their Irish stew. So now they're going to have to say that their Irish stew contains fish, which might throw one or two individuals. But just when you think about the hidden allergens and what could be in your food.
Mind you, Worcester sauce, the number of restaurants that I've gone into, and they've offered me pepper sauce on a steak. I don't go to restaurants that often anymore, but I'm going to, would you like pepper sauce on your steak, sir? Would you like brandy sauce, sir? Would you like this, that, or the other sauce, sir? I said, no, I'll have some Worcester sauce. What? They've never heard of it very, very often, yet it's one of the most wonderful things to have with a bit of steak ever. And obviously there's been a consultation time about this with the industry,
Well, these regulations are consumer focused, really, and they're more about the consumer than they actually are about the food business.
Yeah, but the food business, you need to take them with you and make sure they do what you require them to do.
Yes, and what we've done is written to all our food businesses in the area Earlier in the year, we've informed them about these regulations that are coming.
Yeah.
And then we've set aside time, and we've developed workshops in partnership with Southern Regional College.
Hello, Brian. Good morning over there. All the good folk at Nino in the catering centre there. All of you good people there. Mr. Murphy's over there, my dear friend. They're all there doing. So there's a nice partnership.
Yeah, so we've
on.
great partnership with Southern
Fantastic.
Regional College. So we started with the Chinese community actually with our workshops, and as well as working with SRC, we worked with our colleagues in Piece 3 section of the council, and we managed to secure some funding. There is a bigger risk with Asian cooking because of the nature of the ingredients.
Yes,
there's a lot of
more
soya,
varied.
sesame, nuts, all the allergen. A lot of the allergens will go into the dishes.
Yeah.
So we translated the booklet
Into Chinese?
Into Chinese.
Wow.
There's 2 different dialects here. We've got Mandarin and Cantonese speaking.
Yeah.
So we had translators came
Twice?
Twice. We had a morning session in Mandarin, an afternoon session in Cantonese, and we had a huge turnout. We had 100 candidates turned
Really?
up from not only Newry and Mourne but Down District Council.
Wonderful.
And our neighbouring councils, Armagh, Banbridge,
Yes,
Craigavon, and
yeah.
so on.
Yeah.
So that was very successful.
And is this going to be, these new regulations, enforceable by law?
The regulations will carry penalties, and they also introduce an improvement notice. So if we recognise from inspection that things aren't as they should be, we can serve an improvement notice and give the food business operator some time to comply with it.
Out,
but if it's a serious matter and there's been a bad outcome, or a serious complaint, we can consider improvement notice and formal action like prosecution.
Okay. Shall we read through? We'll go one after the. I'll do one. You do the next. I'll do the next. Just to tell the people what the 14 allergens are. That's the Chinese one you've got.
Yeah, I've got the Chinese
You'll
one.
not be able to do that one.
I can have a good guess here. Anyway. We've got the pictures.
Yeah. You got the pictures. Yeah. Well, you look here, and this is more for the businesses, really,
yes.
as we say this. There are 14 major allergens which need to be declared when used as ingredients, and we have a list of them here. Celery, for example. Any dish that includes celery stalks, leaves, seeds, celeriac, all of this. These things need to be declared.
And then we have wheat containing gluten, so that's your wheat, oats, barley, rye. And that'll be contained in things like flour, cakes, and so on.
And stuff, maybe your morning cereal. Whatever.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Then we have crustaceans, crabs, lobsters, prawns, scampi, fish paste used in Thai curries and salads. Yeah. And then, of course,
eggs.
Wow.
And eggs can be found in their natural form, but also in bakery products.
Yeah.
And where businesses need to be careful about declaring eggs is if they use the egg to glaze pastry, and they need to include that as an ingredient of their
But
dish.
the eggs, how long can I keep an egg in a fridge? You say it's best before or sell by date. I find if it's frozen, it can go on for quite a long time.
The frozen eggs.
No, in the fridge, I mean. If you put your egg in the fridge.
Yeah, well,
keep it in
it is recommended to store eggs in the fridge.
In the refrigerator?
Yes.
Could I keep them for 6 months?
No.
No. Could I keep them for 4 months? 3?
The dates will be marked, the best before date will be marked on the pack.
Yeah. Fish, of course. Yeah.
Yes.
Pizzas, relishes, salad. And then you've got the next one.
Lupin. That's something that wouldn't be quite common here, but it can be found in flours and pasta and such things.
And then milk, butter, cheese, cream, milk powders, yogurt, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Then, of course, back to the sea again.
Yes.
Mollusks.
Mollusks, the shellfish.
Yeah.
So you've got your crabs, your oysters, and prawns. Shrimp paste is something that might be included in stir fries and things like that, salads.
I was telling you of a great recipe for a stir fry, wasn't I?
That's right.
Take your ribeye steak, cut it in half, eat one half one night, marinate the rest of it, slice it into slivers, it's beautiful, and then make a beef and black bean sauce. So you get a nice bottle of wine with that, take the phone off the hook, and ignore the world. It all works. So mustard and then nuts, of course. This is the big one. This can be a difficulty. Peanuts,
Yeah.
all that, and sesame seeds. It's all natural stuff that contains little things in there to catch us out and it causes problems.
So the nuts and the nuts are separate from peanuts. Peanuts have been given a group of their own, and what we're really advising the food businesses is to do the background work now. Identify what your allergens are. We've provided some good tools in the form of charts where they can chart out their menu alongside the 14 allergens and they quickly identify them.
They can talk to you up at Monaghan Row, up at the council.
Absolutely, yes.
Which is good.
Yes.
And the thing really is that you've still got the workshops going.
We've still got the workshops going.
How do they get on to the workshop?
Well, if you give us a call into Monaghan Row, into Environmental Health, and we can book you onto the workshop. We've got 2 workshops left in Kilkeel on Monday. One's from 2 to 4 and the other's from 6:30 to 8:30. And then we've one in Crossmaglen on Tuesday night from 6:30 to 8:30.
You need to talk. If you're in the food industry at all and you want to make your life a bit easier in the business of understanding the new regulations and implementing them.
Yes.
You need to talk to this woman on Monaghan Row.
Yeah. There are big implications for people who take phone orders or order over the internet.
Of course.
From the 13th of December, before an order is made, the food business will have to ask the consumer in advance, have you any allergen requirements? And again, on delivery, each food will have to be labelled and information provided again at the point of delivery. So for businesses that take phone orders and do deliveries, there's a huge requirement here, a huge change in how they provide the information. But I would say that for people who do suffer from allergies, these regulations are great in terms of providing information about what's intentionally in the food. And we wouldn't want allergy sufferers to think that that the environment is much safer. There is always a risk in the background that cross-contamination controls would unintentionally get an allergen into the food, and there's questions that they still need to ask.
And a wee bit of care.
A wee bit of care.
A wee bit of care is important. And we haven't even thought about dealing with genetic modification. That's a fish to fry on another day.
On another day.
I thank you for coming in, my child of Mary Street.
Thank you very much.
God bless you. And give your mum and dad my fond regards.
I will indeed.
We're saying goodbye now to Sinead Murphy, Senior Environmental Officer for Food Safety up at Newry and Mourne District Council.